All right, 7 o'clock, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Please be seated.
You're gonna have to yell.
Great. All
I'm gonna
right.
sit you next to the teacher.
Minutes of last month's meeting have been presented. Any additions and or corrections?
I do not.
Then I will make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Treasurer's report. Has everyone reviewed the treasurer's report and any additions or corrections or questions? All right, I'll take silence as a no, then I will make a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reading of the bills. So this month, we have vouchers 1 through 32. Do any of the commissioners have any questions on any of the vouchers? I think the only one that I had was the advanced IT service contract that was in there. I didn't notice any dates that the contract is for.
Okay, so they didn't put a, it's annual.
I didn't notice
It's a year.
anything, so I didn't know
Yeah.
if it's October to October, or if it's, yes,
Yeah,
okay.
it should be, it's annual. So, and Joanne, just so you know, I saw you circled a lot of the zeroed out, like they put all, so anytime there's a help ticket in there, even though it's covered under the service contract, they always still put it in there, they put the total and then they zero it out.
Putting it in with the bills.
Yep, so you'll always get those.
Yeah.
Any other questions from you?
I don't.
I guess I have one. Why do we pay, or why do we have credit cards that have annual fees?
They all have annual fees, every one of them.
Just surprised that as a district, we have to have a credit card with an annual fee. $45 per card, so
Per year, yep.
it seems a little ludicrous that we have to pay annual fees for a credit card.
All right, then I will make a motion to pay vouchers 1 through 32 for a total of $407,386.93. The reason the total is so large this month is because we have the payment to Churchville for the new engine where we paid 50% of it upfront to save a little over $6,000 on the price of the vehicle. So,
Second.
Becky?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Yes.
Becky, can you just repeat the total?
$407,386.93.
Thank you.
Communications. I did have an individual reach out to me asking about renting this room. They are looking to see if we would be willing to rent it to hold a meeting every Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m. starting January of 22 and kind of going an ongoing, like they don't have any end date. This is for AA meetings. Apparently they are currently up at some church on State Fair Boulevard and they're being asked to find a new.
It's the one that sits in between the entrances and Village
I
Boulevard.
think so.
Yeah.
I guess they want to start doing some event or something on Friday night, so they've asked them to find a new place to relocate. So they've reached out to us. I didn't have any issue, but they did ask if we could come up with kind of a monthly price, because that's kind of currently how we're charged, is on a monthly basis instead of a weekly So I said that I would talk to the commissioners and we would get back to them out there. It's not a rush because it isn't until January, but they're just trying to gather a couple of different places to take back to their board to get approval and see what they want to do. But they would like to, if possible, start. So,
Yeah, it'll give us a chance to decide what we're doing cost-wise and
yeah.
see if the chief has any issues, concerns with it every Friday night type thing.
Yeah.
Did he give an idea of how many on average people show up to their meetings?
It's about 25.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I first went, like, how many people? Just let me talk about it, and then I have his email and his phone number, so I can reach back out to him and got a decision. And that was the only communication that I had.
What time did you say it was? 7
7 to 9. So generally they start at 7. We're usually out by 9. Okay. Commissioners report. Administration. We have received a new discipline policy from our attorney that we are going to be reading and adopting tonight.
Why don't I read it?
Why don't you?
Disciplinary procedures. The policy shall govern the removal and suspension of a volunteer member or volunteer officer of the fire district. The procedure shall be in addition to and not in place of any action the fire company may take pursuant to its own bylaws. The policy shall not provide any rights to paid individuals or employees in their capacity as an employee. Such officers and members of the department shall not be removed or suspended by the fire district from office or membership, as the case may be, by such authorities or by any other officer or body except for incompetence or misconduct. Removal from an operational assignment is not misconduct. No member has any right to any operational assignment. There shall be no due process granted under this policy for removals from operational assignments. Example, interior firefighter, exterior firefighter, operator, or fire police, due to lack of skill, failure to meet training or other requirements, or other similar reasons. Misconduct. Misconduct shall be defined to include, but not limited to, insubordination, being an intentional refusal or unwillingness to obey a valid order or non-discretionary instruction, failing or refusing to obey the rules of the district or department, failing or refusing to obey the policies of the district or department, refusing an order of the commissioners directly or as issued by a chief, failing to carry out the duties of office or membership, acting in a manner that brings public disgrace upon the district or department, conduct unbecoming of a member of the district or department which can be attributed to the individual as a member of the district or department, plea to or conviction to any felony while a member, plea to or conviction to any misdemeanor while a member involving the following: violence, sexual misconduct, larceny, theft, or fraud, child endangerment, engaging in harassing conduct of any nature of another volunteer or officer. Incompetence. Incompetence shall include a proven inability to perform the role of an officer or member which cannot be cured through training or where the individual refuses to be remediated or trained. The physical or mental inability to perform the role of an officer or member. Gross negligence in performance of his duties as a member or officer on one occasion which is not correctable through training. Negligence in performance of his duties as a member or officer on more than one occasion which is not correctable through training. A demonstrated unwillingness to improve required competence or proficiency through training. Absenteeism. The chief may remove persons for absenteeism without a hearing or other due process through the district may reverse, though the district may reverse such decision if it desires. Absenteeism shall be defined as the failure to meet the attendance, drill, or training requirements of the department or district. Arson or attempted arson. Any member convicted of pleas to arson or attempted arson in any degree shall immediately be terminated from membership. Temporary suspension. The chief of the department shall hold the members and officers of the fire department strictly to account for neglect of duty and may suspend them for improper conduct, subject to action of the Board of Fire Commissioners at its next meeting. At the meeting of the board may vote to overturn the suspension or may commence proceedings to continue the suspension up to 1 year or to seek dismissal of a member or officer. Suspended member restrictions. Members who are suspended may not, for the entire period of the suspension, attend any district, department, or company function other than as related to the affiliated hearing or investigation. Suspended members may not in any way identify themselves as being affiliated with a department or company, such as by wearing insignia or other marked clothing. Such members may not be present on district property or in its vehicles, except as permitted as a member of the public. No benefit or privileges of membership may be exercised. Any violation of this rule shall permit the board to continue suspension for an appropriate period of time. Hearing panel. Either the fire commissioners as a body, an officer appointed by the commissioners, or a hearing panel appointed by the commissioners shall serve as the fact-finding panel. The commissioners, officer, or panel shall make a written record as to their findings of fact. No person that has particular knowledge of material disputed facts to the event or events in question shall serve on the Board of Fire Commissioners for this purpose or on a hearing panel. The facts and recommendations shall then be presented to the Board of Fire Commissioners for review and for implementation of discipline, if any. Notice of charges. The chair of the fire district or his or her designee shall provide the member with a notice of charges which provides all charges alleged with specific dates. The charges shall specifically state the charges and the specific conduct in question, as well as any specific rule violated if applicable. The notice and a copy of the charges shall be served personally or by certified mail, return receipt requested. The failure of the accused to retrieve the mailing shall not hinder the proceedings. Such notice shall provide the member with at least 10 days and no more than 30 days notice of an administrative hearing. The member shall be advised that it is permitted to submit a written response at any time before the hearing. The notice shall also state that the time and the place of the hearing and shall advise that the member may be represented by counsel, which shall be at the member's sole cost. The notice shall also state the name of the hearing panel members. The member shall be afforded 4 days from receipt of the notice to object to the members of the board, but the only acceptable objection is that a member of the Board of Fire Commissioners is unreasonably biased or was a witness. Upon receiving an appropriate objection, which the chair deems reasonable, the individual board member will recuse him or herself from the decision-making body of the commissioners. There must be at least 3 remaining commissioners to vote on the discipline. Nope. No, I'm good, thanks. No prejudgment. The charges shall be issued in the name of the chief and other individual proffering the charges, but may be transmitted to the accused under cover of the letter issued by the board. Regardless of how the letter and notices may be drafted, they shall not be intended to show any bias or prejudgment of the facts underlying the allegations or a proper outcome of the allegations. The hearing. The hearing may be a prosecutor or officer charged with proving the charges. If no such person is filled, the commissioner may simply run the hearing. At a hearing, the member will be permitted to present a defense to the charges. The board will determine what the facts of the incidents are and will render a statement of facts for each charge. The member may present proof that could serve to mitigate any punishment if he desires. A stenographer may be employed to record the hearing if the board, hearing panel, or a member officer desires the same. The board may appoint a hearing officer to perform the hearing and make a report of its recommendations at the facts underlying the charges. The decision. The Board of Fire Commissioners shall decide the facts of the matter if no hearing officer was used and shall impose a suitable punishment that bears a rational relation to the offense. If an officer or hearing panel heard the facts of the matter, the record of the hearing shall be referred to the commissioners for review within 90 days from the close of such hearing, along recommendations for or against punishment. The board needs only consider the recommendations, but need not adopt them. The board must adopt the statement of facts, however. No commissioner that was a witness to the material events in question shall vote on this matter or have a voice in the matter. There must be at least 3 commissioners voting in favor of any punishment to impose a punishment. Suitable punishment. A member or officer may be suspended up to, but not longer than 1 year. An officer may be removed from the officer position for the remainder of the term. A member may be removed from membership. Nothing shall prevent the board from imposing other punishment or remedial measures such as counseling or training. Appeal of the hearing. A member shall have the right to appeal the hearing in the time permitted and under the procedure permitted by Article 78 of the Civil Practice Laws and Rules, CPLR. There are no internal appeals permitted.
Any questions by any of the board members? Then I will make a motion to adopt the disciplinary procedures as read.
I'll second that.
We'll do a roll call on this one for the policy change.
Tony,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
All right, and we had one other change submitted for consideration to the policies.
Sorry, both of them.
Okay. Currently, there is a definition in our membership guidelines that reads, persons making applications for membership must live within the Northwest Fire District, CMAP amendment, or in an immediately adjacent fire district and must adhere to policy number 19 in reference to members moving out of the district after becoming members. The proposed new change is persons making application for membership must live within the Northwest Fire District, see the MAP amendment, or in the vicinity of the Northwest Fire District, and must adhere to policy 18 in reference to members moving out of the district after becoming members. Vicinity is defined as anywhere in Onondaga or Oswego County.
I think we need to amend that to Cuba. Right over the border to the west, but yeah, Cuba.
There's the 3 that hook there,
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
It does make sense.
I mean, we border
Right there.
Cuba, so
Right.
we definitely should. Sorry.
I'm not opposed to it, it makes sense.
Either
If we
one.
do Oswego, we should do Cuba too.
We border both counties, so.
I'll make a motion to accept that amendment.
Give a second.
I will.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, sorry, it's policy change.
Tony,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
That's it. No.
I'm going back.
That was the only thing I had for administration. Chris, did you have any?
That was it.
Financial, so just to make sure everyone's on the same page, the refunding bond was completed. The bond for the remainder of the $350 for the truck has been completed. We are, I think, one more budget meeting away from having the 2022 budget completed, which should be next Tuesday. And then, of course, we've got the hearing October 19th. I think that's all for financial. Tony, check maintenance?
Yeah, very little. Probably late October, early November, we gotta send out requests for, maintenance for, I think our contract expires in January 1. So we should probably send, and what I think we did the last time, and it made it a lot easier, was just request all the vendors, send us your PM program, and then you guys went through and just put it on a spreadsheet, and that made sense, and I think that's what we should do this year. So, you know, mid-October, we just send them out to what I would say the I don't know, 4 or 5 vendors within a reasonable.
I can bring that to the workshop.
Okay.
And then I have some capital projects in the budget for 2022. One of, you know, pretty good project for the truck. I got all of the undercoating all budgeted for 2022. And a new tonneau cover for 21, chief, for 2022. So other than that, not a whole lot to report on.
We're gonna wanna get a price for a cover for the new engine as well. There's pricing built into it, but not having Pierce do it, wanna do
Okay.
with your vendor, cause your
Yeah,
covers
they're-
you're getting are better quality.
Definitely, and it'll be the same as I budgeted for 21.
That's what I have.
Yeah, okay.
Alright. That's all then. Jeff, building and grounds?
Projects with the lift is ongoing. I had to extend the lift for another week. It's due Saturday. We're still within the $800 that you approved, so hopefully another week I'll have everything pretty much done I needed to do with it. I know Commissioner McIntyre asked for some pricing on replacing the carpet at Station 2 radio room. I have one quote. I gotta meet somebody there Friday, and hopefully another one this week. I'll have it for the workshop. Other than that, just cooking the gas.
Thank you.
Purchasing agent, Wayne.
I have a significant list of requests. Do you want to go through all of them? Do you have any questions on any of them? I know it's pretty extensive.
Wayne, I do have a few questions. On, just because I'm not sure, what's the difference between, on your 2055 request for white magnetic boards, some that says magnetic porcelain frame white boards at 1,600 requested, and then the, what is it, Maya?
Yeah.
Magnetic frame whiteboards at 510. Are you asking for both or one or
No.
the other?
One or the other. Basically, what was requested was $1,600, and the Maya whiteboards are only 510.
So what is the, I guess for lack of a better term, what is the difference between the two?
The big difference is the porcelain, they're saying is a better, has a better longevity as far as markings.
It's, when you talk a whiteboard, are you talking this?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, this one's been here since 2001.
Yeah. That's the lower priced one.
Do you know any more about it? Chief, you got any insight?
Only what was written to him by the people requesting it.
So realistically, not sounding sarcastic,
You're not. The only difference is it's just a different type of
Your
material.
appliance is at home where it's a portion of finish, so that's what a portion of finish, so that's it's a highly quality finish.
What do you think?
It has,
What
it has
is
a
this, you
significant
think?
coating to it. So
Is this, I mean, right now, this holds up, and it's held up, so is that the cheaper one and the more expensive
That's
one?
the
How do
cheaper
we
one.
know?
that's the cheaper.
Are we sure?
That's not worth
That's not. I can tell you right now, that's not worth it.
By looking at it.
Yeah,
That is a standard whiteboard.
I mean, I'm not in favor of paying 3 times the cost for a whiteboard.
That's why I'm just wondering if it did something different or better. I don't know.
I mean, it's
I-
the porcelain is a high quality whiteboard. I mean,
To do
it's-
what though?
I mean, if it lasts you
it's
6 years.
It says that, you know,
License.
it's limited lifetime warranty. What the hell is that gonna mean?
Okay.
I mean,
And you gotta remember, man.
You've actually answered my question.
They
so
both say
thank you.
that, right?
Yeah.
Wayne, sorry, you got more?
No, that was one I read earlier, and I'm thinking, what am I missing?
Excuse me. Still getting over the discipline policy. The extrication gloves, your
Yes.
email said 1,600, but the agenda says
And
2,600.
It was
so
supposed to
which
be,
is
it was supposed to be 2,600.
Okay.
It was just a typo on my
Okay.
part.
Actually, now that he brought that up, it dawned on me. Today I was thinking about some stuff that's relevant to purchasing that I think it should be discussed now, and I think it's important. I was at a meeting for work on Friday with a vendor, and we're getting at work hit from the vendor with a 9% price increase starting January 1. And looking at some of the stuff that's coming in, my point with it and where it's relevant to us is our cost on what I would say every day, for example, extrication gloves, are going to be going up significantly, and the lead time to get stuff, most vendors are slowly not carrying stuff on the shelf where you could just call them up and say, give me 20 of this and 30 of that. So as you're ordering, I know we have a minimum and a maximum of where you like to be. I don't know if it makes sense to carry a little bit more because of the lead times. And quite frankly, one of our glove vendors had 2 price increases this year alone, and we got another one in January. So as you're purchasing items, you really gotta take a look at, I know we just quoted a set of turnout gear for a customer. It was 9 months to build the turnout gear.
Right.
And guaranteed within that 9 months, there's gonna be a price increase. Just be cognizant when you're ordering them. If you think, we used to order 15, you might want to order 20, and you're actually going to be, just something to think about, which was relevant. It just struck to me, it was relevant when you're ordering stuff.
No, I know, there's gonna be price increases across the board, and I know the lead times are gonna go up on a lot of items because it's just the availability of the stuff. So, that's more critical to me than, I understand prices are gonna go up. You can't stop it, but you can't predict what you're gonna use either.
Any other questions?
The stainless steel table, say where that's going?
It was, I thought I put it on there. Station 3.
Sorry, it says stage 3, where?
John Purtle requested it, I don't know.
I can
don't have a
speak to
reason
that
for
because currently we have no place to put gear, to take gear apart or to work on SCBA's. We have no place to take it. You can't go outside the truck floor with turnout gear.
Yep.
So you set it on the floor, or we don't want to put it on a dirty, oily workbench.
Yep.
So that's the reason for the stainless steel table, is just like they have in Station 2 in the gear. To
Makes
be able to
sense.
take your gear apart and put it back together.
It's
and
dirty, Lee. Clean it
Work
up.
on SCBA's. I wasn't saying Jeff was dirty, but his workbench.
So what I'd like to do, if this is okay, I'd like to make a motion to purchase, to go ahead and approve PO 2054-2055 with the $510 board. 2056, 2057, 2058, 2059, 2060, 2064 for a total of $49.58. That's my form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I would second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Do you have anything else?
Yes, I did. In fact, I thought I had 2 things. The entrance to Station 3, there's been concerns with it being so dark in that area, entrance onto Oswego Street. There's no lighting in that general area where the entrance is. So I've been, I got contact information to get a light for that entrance from National Grid. Originally, we thought that it was gonna be as easy as just putting a light on a pole. Well, the 2 poles that are in the vicinity of the entranceway will not work because there's too much other utility stuff on there. So their recommendation is to put a new pole in with a light and run the power to it. So that would put an LED lighting right at the entrance so we can see in the general area. With that, the cost for the additional cost for per month on our National Grid bill would be $22.83 a month for 12 months, plus whatever usage we use for electricity on that light. I don't know what it would be. So, I mean, they gave a big explanation as far as what a rate was, but it's all mumbo jumbo to me. You know, it's like several different variables on that. I don't know what the timeline would be. Basically, they would, we have to sign the contract back, or sign the contract and send it back to them, and then they would work with it, and basically, it would automatically get billed to our current account for Station 3. So I don't know if it's something you want to look more into, or if you want to go forward with it. The other caveat with that is we have to get an easement agreement with Morocco, because the pole's going to go on his property. Because we only own the actual roadway. I mean, literally, there's no, it's not 2 inches off the roadway.
Does, it's gonna sound like a stupid question, do we have to pay for the pole to be put in?
Yes.
Okay.
It's built into the cost.
Oh, so the $22 a month?
Yeah, the 2283, it is the aluminum light, whatever they described that. It's an LED light at the roadway, a pole off of the service. They specified a wood pole. I don't know what else they would put in, but, and then they had overhead service lines, and all that is basically a built-in cost of $2283 a month.
For only 12 months?
For 12 months. That's what it says, 12 months.
$273.
You know,
I mean, the pole's gonna cost twice that.
you know. They'd say the only way that they would go forward though is if we have to have an easement agreement with Morocco to basically put the pole in. So, but it doesn't say anything more. All it says is it's a 12-month agreement to pay this amount. So.
I think we should move forward with it. To me, it's a safety issue that's very dark on that. As driving an engine, it's very dark on that.
Yeah, I'm more concerned, especially when it gets dark, when you have pedestrians in the sidewalk, you don't
Correct.
see them.
It's a very busy
You know, I mean,
travel.
going out is one thing, but coming back, it's more of a concern.
Is that the actual contract?
Yes, this is the actual contract that they sent me.
I'm gonna assume the village won't work with us on that, but it is a state road. I know you got the signs put in. I don't know if I mean, the state would probably take a few years to get anything put in, but.
I mean, they didn't really give me a timeline as far as when it would, how long it would take to get it done. But I guess we would have to start with the easement agreement first.
Yeah.
If you look at the floor plans, it's basically a dotted line right straight up the roadway, that is it.
All right, I don't think it's gonna be. So we're gonna have to continuing it. It's not just
Yeah.
a 12 month and you're done paying it.
Usually you pay for the equipment and then you pay for.
Well, but the contract says that it continues until canceled by either party. It starts November 1st and then continues thereafter.
I mean, it says that you're paying, you know, for 12 months for the equipment, but I think what they're saying continues is the electricity use. Because obviously, somebody has to pay for the usage of the, whatever electricity. Can't imagine that's very much.
Not even that, not more than
It's
that.
how many hours it runs a day.
I was spending 30 cents a day.
I mean, it's 12 months to do the service, and then after that, we continue to pay whatever energy we use.
I guess it all starts with the easement.
I just can't pay 200.
Well, if you guys want to go forward with it, I can reach out to Morocco tomorrow.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with it. I guess it's all predicated on him giving us the easement, but assuming he does,
Put a
it's only
nice,
gonna benefit his business.
put a nice Northwest.
Which side do you want to put it? Doesn't really matter.
We paid for it, why not?
All right, so Rick made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll reach out to Morocco tomorrow and see
Get some
what.
national grid connections, we can get that forward. Billy Perkins. Since we have store poles at Station 2, we can throw
Yeah,
those towards
there you go.
I'm gonna reach out to Brad too.
All the damage they did to the yard over there, maybe we can call it even. Half of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the entranceway, that's it. The only last thing that I have is the hose that failed the hose testing and or was too old to be tested. I want to be able to, I don't think it's worth getting what did fail to have it tested because it is older hose. But there is one hose that is the new Mercedes hose. It's only, I want to say, a year old. So that one I would like to see get repaired.
Well, it's a 10-year warranty on the hose, so we gotta, the process of that, Wayne, is to just bring it over to Jerome's, because that's who you bought it from, and let them tell you that, you know, it's not warranted and why, but there's a 10-year warranty on the hose.
Yeah. I don't know what failed on it because all it says is failed.
All right.
So, but it is the new Mercedes hose. That's the only one I probably would look at getting repaired.
Yeah.
I mean, the other stuff, I would just say, you know, surplus it, and if somebody wants it, that's fine. I know somebody had asked, I guess they know a farmer out in Plainville that wants old hose. But looking at it, I don't know if I don't think it's worth fixing it outside of the one length.
Well, how old is it, do you know, roughly?
Well, some of it's really old.
There's an NFPA standard, so
Yeah.
if it's up,
I mean, it's the old hard plastic yellow hose, but
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is, they're all jumpers.
yeah.
So I think they've been cut and repaired 100 times.
Did we want to talk about the gear? The email that went in about the gear? Or not going to do business?
I don't think it's a 5-minute conversation. I don't know. If they're, maybe it is 5 minutes. If they're holding the price, what do we legally have to do? Do we know that?
Do we have to bid it?
I don't think we have to bid it because I believe that we did a resolution. I guess I'll have to go back and double check the resolutions, but I believe that we did a resolution prior. I don't know where it escapes me now, but I put it in the email what the resolution was.
Standardizing.
Thank you, standardizing.
Resolution standard.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we approved that or adopted it prior. So as long as we've done that, if we're gonna standardize and say this is what we're gonna, you know, it's what we've bought for the past 2 rounds, it's what everybody seems to like.
Wayne, refresh my memory, did that, your email say that they're holding the price for 1 year?
They would hold it, they would hold the price that they gave us for the last 2 years. They would hold that price until January 1st.
Meaning
But I need
this
to give-
January?
Yes, as long as we
He
give them a
says,
commitment.
he says they have a
before.
price increase going into effect October
Certainly they do.
1st. So if we're going to go forward with it, then he's asking, at least give him a verbal to say, yes, we're gonna order the gear. And then they need to have the order in before January 1st, which isn't gonna be a big deal, because right now, the gear is 4 months to get gear. So, and I'm sure by the time we get it in, it's probably gonna be longer. I mean, it just,
It's not
I guess
gonna
that's
come
the
in in
nature
four-
of the
It's not
beast.
gonna come in 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm figuring if we order it, let's just say November 1st, we probably won't see it until March, April if you're lucky. I mean, that's 6 months.
Do we need 10 sets?
Yes.
Then
We're crazy not to.
I was gonna
Have
say, if
3
that-
years with the same price.
Yeah, definitely don't see, if we can legally do that, I'm all in. If we can legally do that.
On each EDC too, so.
Is it?
There's a main price for, yeah,
Okay.
fire, they're all on each EDC, so. All different variations of it, so, and source law.
Well, let me double check on the resolution to make sure that we did adopt it. I know we talked about it, but I'm almost 100% sure that we did it.
Well, you did it for the Rhino tablets.
That's what I thought, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And there was something else prior to that, but yeah, that was kind of what
We
Okay.
did it,
brought
we
it up.
did it for the Plano events.
When's the deadline?
That was the other thing, the Plymouth event.
They have to have at least a verbal by
He
October
would
1st,
like a verbal by October 1st.
so we can,
I mean, we could discuss it and bring it back to the workshop.
Decide the workshop.
the workshop.
Okay. That
So
works.
that'll work, we can commit at the workshop or make the decision by the workshop and that'll be before October 1st and,
Right.
okay.
I would like it in writing that he's holding the price.
I will get that in writing. I'll have him sign it in blood.
He needs to, because that's hard to believe, they could be hit for 4, 8, 12% easy.
Did you have anything else?
I hope that's it.
Chief D.
Hello. I did put in, back in August, for a couple of items. One is an inflatable water rescue craft, which I sent information, hopefully it was passed all of you to review. And along with that inflatable watercraft, which would replace the Avon boat that we have, which is an inflatable one that we've had for the past 20 years, that is in need of repair. And basically, it's best thought to try to repair it than to replace it. Yes, it's a little expensive. We do get quite a few water calls. We just had one this morning, just about a boat floating around. We presently only have Water Rescue 2, and WR4 is being looked at right now, the motor and the
Last I knew, it's
Oars?
back.
It is back? No? We haven't heard anything, so I don't know where
you're-
it's.
What's the bill for that we signed?
I was gonna say, Chief D, your deputy Chief D sent us a bill that it needed to be paid by the end of the month, and it was 500 and change, and they sold the company. I assume that it got fixed. If it's not at that firehouse,
Yesterday wasn't there. He had it back, he had it at the garage, he had it backed up to the door there in the maintenance bay the other day. What's on with it?
I'll check with them.
Sand process went for a long time.
Yeah, sat down and cost you forever.
However, getting back to here, the watercraft itself that we're looking for, can we use in the summertime, can we use in the wintertime? 2 personnel generally would be out on it. It'd be more reliable, along with the reels that we're requesting as well, which are 2 900-foot rope reels for a price of $1,389.42. These can be twofold. One, they can be utilized by personnel that may be entering the water. We can tag them. We can also put it across the water base itself, being 900 feet. If we're looking to rescue somebody up above, we now have something to catch them down below, whereas before we would put the 100-foot ladder out and hope that we could grab them on one end of it. This way here, we'd have something in the water for it as well. We could also utilize it anytime our personnel, they don't necessarily have to be in water. They can be going into an area and we can have that reel put out so they can follow it. So it's something that we've looked at and feel that would greatly help us, especially when we're getting water calls, not necessarily for our district, but for outside our district, which is for Plainville and go all the way up to Cross Lake. So many times we may need something for a quick rescue. We have the Avon boat, which is on Squad 3. That's going immediately to the scene and basically have the Avon boat inflated and then put in the water. Right now, the Avon boat is very uncomfortable to manage. One person could sit in it, a second person could probably try to sit in it, but if we don't tether it off to something and they get caught up into the current, we can lose them, and we can lose the boat as well. Whereas this, we could tether this boat as well and use it more ways than not, as opposed to putting in WR2 or WR4 into the water itself. That's our reason for requesting it. I believe there is money available to purchase it, and as well as both ice reels. They call them ice rescue wheels, but they can be used for other normal things other than just ice rescue, as can the boat. I don't know if you have any comments on them or anything else, or?
I think your Avon boat's older than 20 years, because I remember,
I didn't want to date a stone.
I think it's pushing 30, to be honest with you.
So,
And I don't want to repair that.
I don't think you can get parts to repair it,
Yeah, you can't.
because I looked at before for the cats and we couldn't get them.
Ironically, we could make some money on it by selling it to some foolish person who might want to go out in the water and not return it, but at the same time,
No.
you can just not put that in the
Surplus.
You want to hit the last PO? If there are any questions.
Moving on to the last thing that I have down there is for Deputy Chief Kevin D. to take a course, which would be on, on 11/28 through 12/3. It's a fire instructor course, which we can always use another fire instructor. It's Fire Instructor 1 at Montour Falls. The cost actually is going towards a hotel room for him to be in at Montour Falls. If anybody's been to Montour Falls, you're better off staying in a motel or hotel.
Are we opening up a can of worms by sending him to the hotel versus the
No,
dorms?
because when he's gone down there and paid for it himself, he's gone to the hotel. And basically, you can still go to the course itself. It's similar to
No, I get it.
going to the other state facility where they put us up for free in the hotels. You can go back and you can study instead of, whatever. I believe we have money to cover that, so.
You want to bring up the last one?
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw in there, just because it was previously given to us, the request that came through on 9/2 for the live fire sessions.
Yes, there's 3 live fire sessions, $900 total, $300 each time. And those are for September 16th, which we will be going to this Thursday. So the commissioners know we've got quite a few people signed up. Whether or not all will show up remains to be seen, but there are about 22 people that are signed up. We also have another one on 10/16 and then 11/20.
What was the first date?
Excuse me,
What was the first date?
I'm sorry, this Thursday, September 16th. And as you already know, we put in for it before, 3 of us will be attending the legal seminar down at Turning Stone. Myself, Deputy Chief DiGregorio, and Assistant Chief O'Kelly will be going on Friday and Saturday.
Me too.
And, well, you weren't with us. You're going because you're commissioner, not as a chief. I do have another one I want to pass to you and give it to you now, bring it up on another time, but this is, and this comes in for the 98 that we had today, which could have turned into a significant fire. However, the people that were there did a good job with the garden hose and attempting to put out the kitchen fire, and they did well on that. One person was transported. But what I'm leading up to is, 2 of our vehicles that were on the scene have no generators. So if we look to run a fan so we can do positive ventilation, unless we can use the power of the house, which we don't really want to do when we have the kitchen fire, and wiring may have been involved, we basically have to hope there's a truck there that has the ability to feed the fans that we do have. And both 21 and 11, which were on the scene along with RP3. RP3 does have a generator, which was just graciously fixed more recently, so we're able to use that. But these are for 2 battery-operated fans. And this is the information on it submitted by Assistant Chief O'Kelly for a price of $3,000.
$3,750 each for one and 2.
Our new engine that we're purchasing will also not have a generator. So battery-operated fans, which can last 45 minutes, AC? Yep. 45 minutes at a time, is beneficial to us. They are also, these fans can also be plugged into your standard electricity. So if we do have the ability to use the home electrical or one of our generators on one of our vehicles that are present, we would have a chance of still being able to use them.
What battery are you running?
It's gonna come with the lithium ion there.
No, I know, but the manufacturer, the reason why I asked.
Blowhard.
What's that?
Blowhard is the manufacturer.
The reason why I ask is, as the industry's changing, it's changing the battery everything.
Yep.
So I'm definitely not opposed to buying a battery fan and battery anything, but I'm opposed of having Milwaukee battery, this battery, Hearst battery, that battery. A lot of the manufacturers, whatever equipment, and again, I'm just thinking of, oh Christ.
Tony, this looks like it's built in.
Yeah, it is built in.
It's not a removable battery.
I don't know. I believe in battery technology, and I believe in that. I don't know if that's the right figure.
I'll share it with you.
I'm just saying, do you have battery-operated Sawzalls and impact guns? Do you have that now, Chief?
We
have
have
some,
some, yeah.
And what's the brand of those?
The wall.
And what,
But
okay, so,
Tony,
Supervac.
they're the old school though. We have
Okay.
the wall 18s, old
Okay,
school.
that's
so-
not what I'm
so
talking
They
about.
don't.
So I think, Chief, it's a bigger project than just buying a couple of fans. Because, like, now that I think of it, Supervac has battery-operated fans that run either a Milwaukee battery or a DeWalt battery. At some point, you're going to have to replace your Sawzalls, your, lights, all of your everything's running the battery, but I'd like to be in the same battery platform. So it's bigger than just buying 3 fans.
Right, but these are also able to run off electricity.
Fair enough.
Okay, so they're dual. If there's an area where we just need to use the battery portion of it, we can,
Mhm.
but we can also use it as an electrical fan.
Understood. It's bigger than just buying 3 fans right now. I think it's a bigger project.
The tools that we have are the old 18-volt stuff, and it's very limited now.
Yeah.
Not even on
Now,
stage.
if it's whatever you're gonna buy, you need to stay on that platform, is my point.
So I'm on Supervac's thing right now, and like you said, they have all different sorts here. They actually use the Hearst tool ones as well
Yep.
as Milwaukee, but I would stay away from the Hearst stuff. But,
Agreed.
the-
Just something to think about.
Copy that.
Lee, do we still have that generator off Rescue 6 sitting in the stores?
No, we sold it.
Tony, one of these two that works with the DeWalt or the
Yeah,
Milwaukee
they
also
can
can be plugged
yeah.
into the regular outlet as well. So, 40 minutes of runtime for all 16, 18, and 20-inch sizes.
Mhm.
I don't think this is gonna pass, so, I will make a motion to, go with POs 2061, 62, and 63, as well as the additional $900 for live fire training for a total of $7,839.02.
Do you have a second?
I will second that.
Tony,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
$7,339.02. What did you do with my 2 cents?
Wayne, are you putting a PO number to the live fire?
I did not know anything about it, but I can.
Yeah. What would be the next PO number?
No, I
You
mean
don't go to
the
I-5.
purchase.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be 2065. I think last one was 2064.
Yeah.
So 2065. Chief, if you could send me the information where you got that inflatable boat price, because I can't find it that cheap. Closest one I could find is $49.90.
I will send it back to the workshop, right, or are they gonna do more research?
I'll hand you the
Tony?
I'm listening. Which one? Oh.
I guess both. Kevin, Deputy Chief Aurora said WR4 is done, just needs to be picked up. So, he said he sent you an email about it.
I thought, I assumed that, I knew that we owed him money, but I didn't
Signed
know.
off on the bill tonight.
Chief, do you have anything else that you want to go over?
As far as, you had me down as a second time there to talk on comments and reports. You want me to do that now? Okay. As I stated a little while ago, we did have a 98 today. Could have been a serious one. Apparently a female who is, has some issues as far as memory and such. Also with forgetting things are on the stove, which you don't have to have dementia or anything of that nature, and many of us forget things are on the stove, walk away from it. Apparently this happened. She was left in the house. A gentleman who was home with her was out mowing the grass, and then he went to talk to some neighbors, and somebody turned to him and said, "Hey, how come that smoke coming from your house?" So he went back. Fortunately for the woman, she was able to be seen by the state trooper who showed up on the scene just prior to the arrival of myself and the ambulance, and he was managed to see her in the smoke, dragged her from the house, got her outside. She was intubated on scene. She was taken as a unresponsive female. However, the report that we've gotten back since then is that they had her in a hyperbaric chamber to bring down her CO levels, which is done very well at University Hospital, and that she is doing well right now. That can always change, but right now she's doing well. The fire itself was basically put out by the civilians who were there, who managed to take a fire hose or a garden hose and stand outside and aim it through the window, managed to knock down the bulk of the flames until our people got in there and basically made sure that the flames were out, heavy black smoke, knee-high to the floor, and nobody got hurt other than a young female. A woman about my age, 72, thereabouts, being taken out. So I gave a good pat on the back to the trooper who was twice my size, and told him he did a good job. Whether or not that meant anything, but I think it did. So as far as us, we had a good response. We had 3 engines. We had RP3, engine 21, as well as engine 11. We also had tanker coming from Station 4, and we had multiple mutual aid coming as well. So we were able to keep it to a 98, which just meant that it didn't get out of hand, and we were able to put it into place. I have the report still to be done. It was accidental. It was something left on the stove, from all indications. Unfortunately, the people lost quite a bit of the medicine that they normally would have to take. Red Cross was notified, and they were trying to help them get the medication that they would need for the husband who was still there. This woman in the past probably should have been in a home, and apparently she was steadfast, not going. That may change after today's incident. But we had a good turnout. If you look at the turnouts that we had for the month of August, we had 101 calls with a total of 1,352 members. Granted, that is, of course, over the whole month. We're an average 13.38 members per call for the month. Of course, Station 1, which has the more members and such, responded with an amount of 5.39. Station 2, an average of 2.74 members per call. Station 3, 4.44 members per call. Station 4, 0.3 members per call. So we had 100 fire calls. There was 4s, explosions, none. Rescue EMS, 28 calls. We have been asked by the county, Department of Emergency Management, that EMS is getting their butt kicked as far as going to EMS calls, also status calls, checks, and whatever else. Fire rescues in the past, since COVID, have resorted to, we'll respond to the station, we'll stand by at the station. If the ambulance needs us, they need to request us, and we will then respond to assist. Basically trying to keep our members safe from COVID situations. Us going to a COVID situation and walking in blindly, spending more than 5 minutes, puts us at risk, puts the entire crew at risk, and then we have to quarantine them. So we've tried to tell our people, if you get there, try to talk to the people, have them come to the door, you stand your distance, find out what the issue is if you do go to the scene. If you don't have the equipment, do not enter the home. So we've been asked now by emergency management to alter that, to assist that when they have an Alpha or a Bravo call, which are generally either a lift assist or something else, and maybe we can respond to take some of the weight off the EMS agencies. We're attempting to do that as best as we can. So, hazard calls, 6, 38 service calls, 2 calls for good intent, 23 false alarms, and no weather or special things this month. We've had no injuries that I'm aware of. None. Okay. And we've been keeping ourselves generally healthy. We did have some issues this past month, but it didn't involve the majority of the personnel. It was just individualized. So we were good on that. Other than that, okay, I said 101 calls, just telling me 103 alarms.
It's 100 and something.
Okay. All right,
It's up there.
moving right along. I'm all set.
All right, Rick or Chris, security and computers, anything to update?
All the kiosks have been updated. Everyone should see they're working significantly faster. If there's any problems, let me know. Currently working on an alternative to replace our printers with a different manufacturer for a cheaper alternative. And the only actually one thing that's transpired, Assistant Chief Natoli worked with myself and Advanced IT on 6 of the quote-unquote broken MDTs, the older style that we were having issues with. Brought them over to Advanced IT. They were able to get 2 of them operational immediately. They needed upgrades to Windows 10 licenses, which can easily be transferred when we move to other things or upgrade computers. And then a third one was able to be parted and put together. So they were able to take a couple parts off one of the other broken ones and combine it. So no cost, we were able to get 3 MDTs back up and operational. So we'll be picking those up shortly, and Assistant Chief Mazzoli can work with the chiefs on where they're gonna go. So not a permanent solution. They are old, they're had a lot of use out of them, but they will get us by until we can start getting more of the Rhino tabs.
If nothing else, safety, Officer Hopper.
Yes, thank you. As Tony mentioned, no injuries reported, which is good. Our incidence rate is doing well, lower than we were last year. COVID not part of that makes, but our normal injury illness rates are low, which is good. Of course, every time I think I say that, something happens. But, so we're going to keep moving in that direction. COVID-19, we're in good shape at the moment. I say that because the number of people we had potential or secondary potential issues have all tested negative. Then one individual that was hospitalized is out of the hospital now and doing well. So we need to keep moving in that direction. One thing I have seen is that exposure seems to be coming external to internal. We're not generating exposures ourselves. It's the wave that's coming in, the contacts that we have outside, with our businesses and so on. So still need to be mindful, even though it's a better statistic, still want to be mindful of what we need to do. The screening process is probably one of the most important defenses we all have to protect each other from getting ill and spreading the disease. Anybody have any questions for me? I do have one quick thing I'll mention here on, there's been some talk about OSHA. OSHA's been in the news. It's been around 50 years, and all of a sudden they pop up. Because of the intention of trying to push people into getting vaccinations, OSHA is using, by orders of the president, the power that OSHA has to enforce safety hazards, remove those hazards. So the thing is that I've been able to find now, it is OSHA. We are not under OSHA, we're on PESH. But PESH could come along, after a couple of months, be directed by the federal government. You need to pick up these rules and regs like we do with the federal side of it, and then they could enact additional standards. Haven't seen or heard anything of that. That's typically what they do, but it takes 6 months or 8 months to get everybody lined up to get to that point. So I'm just making mention of it because it is a big change. And as soon as we hear anything, if anything comes up, I'll let the membership and leadership here know what's going on. So, other than that, just keep up, good work, good trending. Just be aware of weather changes coming up and the kids out there too. Anything else for me? All right, in a brief, thank you.
We do have one resignation from Baldwinsville, Kimberly. We have, is the background check still pending?
For Mills, yes.
Yes, okay.
Bailey's done.
Okay, yeah, I saw that here. I wasn't sure if it was.
Yep.
So we have 2 new members, one in Baldwinsville, Wayne Bailey, fully approved, background check and physical complete. And then we have one for Lysander, Anthony Mills. His approval is pending his background check and physical.
Seeing how he's active in the Army, I'm sure his background check's gonna come back just fine.
I'm sure it is.
I don't see anything on his application to worry about.
Yeah.
And then no updates or changes to any member statuses. Any old business we need to discuss?
I was just gonna mention that, that a lot of the AFG grants have been getting awarded. People see them a lot in the news, they get posted. They still have a few more rounds to go, and we are still in the running for it for the engine. We have not been excluded, and all 3 of our federal representatives are pushing that very heavily for us. So I will keep everybody updated on anything I hear. they said expect mid-October to be the very end cutoff of anything.
Yeah, they're coming out once a week.
Yeah.
Every Friday they've been out for the last month and a half.
Yep. So with that, the Congress, or the local, the representative for the area gets notified on Thursday, and then they're announced on Friday, so similar to last time, I would expect to get a call on that Thursday, to be notified, so. I'll let you guys know if I hear anything.
Picture taken with Cat Golf,
No, I got enough pictures.
Anything else? All right, any new business?
So, 3 different grants. Sorry, Firehouse subs, and I didn't get this to Megan in enough time. I didn't want to send it to her at 4 o'clock and see if she can
Her
get it.
cutoff is 2.
Yeah. So Firehouse subs, Q1 for 2022 opens October 31st, closes November 10th. Very tight window. Talking about battery stuff lately, that probably could be a good thing to look into. Whether it be fans, power equipment, tools, cutters, or everything. I don't know if you'd like me to work with a specific chief or anything on that.
Why don't you try working with Belzec, because he's indicated that some of the grants he was looking at for the ticks, and there was one other thing. He was told that probably not gonna get it, only because they're not approving ticks,
Yeah.
whatever else, so.
Yeah, I can get the list of equipment that they typically approve, and yeah, it's usually rescue tools, that type of stuff.
Unless you're still comfortable working with Kevin, then keep on working with Kevin.
Yeah, either way, so.
That's my operations chief, so why don't you do that?
Okay. And then, AFG 2021, as well as the, SAFER, the staffing, grant, those will be coming, open within the next couple months here. So we might wanna start just thinking about anything we need, whether it be air packs to vehicles on, and then the SAFER one, I think, some different staffing ideas, recruitment, whether it be a sign, like the digital sign we looked at, this time we just, now that we know, we gotta come up with a recruiting, plan or, campaign ahead of time, so just keep in mind those 2 are gonna be coming up pretty soon for, opening, so.
Anybody? All right. Station usage, Station 4, November 6th for a party for the Klein family. And then, any comments from the public? All right. We do have to have an executive session for an employment matter, so I'm going to make a motion to go into an executive session at 8:13.
I'll second.
Will there be a decision made?
Yeah,
Okay, there will be a decision made, so when we come back out, we will announce what that decision is.
Wayne, do need you to stay as well as chief.
It's totally up to the individuals if they want to wait for the decision.
I think it's gonna be pretty quick, so if we wanna go up,
Can I see the application real quick?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be fairly quick.
Adjourn the executive session at 8:30 and make a motion to go back into the regular session.
Second.
What was the decision of?
Decision was to continue the suspension until the hearing.
Okay.
So, and this is an additional suspension on the one that was already running.
Okay. Then with that, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:31. Do I have a second?
Yep.